is it possible to be in a romantic relationship with somebody or a marriage or a union with somebody where the sacrifices are equal, or will there always be somebody sacrificing more than the other?
Personally, it's never 50-50, dude.
Yeah.
It's
I
never
agree.
50-50.
I think so too. And I think you can get it, the ratio is pretty close.
Oh, yeah.
And then those are the better relationships.
Over the aggregate of like maybe 70 years.
And the reason I asked this question is because I went through a breakup with somebody over the summer. It was like it wasn't even like a very serious relationship. It was like the beginning phases of getting to know a person and deciding if I wanted to pursue that. Mm-hmm. They were great, like at first, but then once I started getting to know them, there was a lot of stuff they were going through. And I was on the fence. I was like, it was making me ask all these questions about what it even means to love somebody. Mm-hmm. Like, I'm like, there's this one part of me that just wants to get the hell out of here because I'm like, this person's fucked up. Like, let me get out. But then there's this other part of me that it's like, but wait, wouldn't love require for me to love them as they are and sacrifice my peace a little bit? And then I realized if I were to stay from them, I would be making this massive sacrifice. I was like, I'm going to be sacrificing a lot of my peace to help you. And I left. And then when I left, I was like, it just made me ask questions about relationships in general. I'm like, that was an extreme case, but is this true in all relationships? Is this true in all relationships that there is going to always be one person that I guess has more stability and is going to have to sacrifice more of their stability to help the weaker person? And I don't want to get you in trouble by if there's dynamics like that in your relationship. But
I mean, yeah, I don't think anybody's exempt from that, but I think, with my relationship, it's different in the sense that like we have vows with each other until we die. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And then once one of us dies, our vow's done. You know, you could look at it very morbid like that, but we talk to each other sometimes. I'm like, who do you think is going to die first? Yeah, in a very playful way.
It's usually the man, but
right. Yeah, we burn faster, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of reasons for that, and I don't want to get into a side tangent, but some of the reasons I found out was, one, men don't like to take care of their health problems. Like, it's a stubbornness. Like, I don't need to go to the doctors.
I don't go to the doctor.
Men don't go to the doctors, and I don't know if it's like a male thing where it's like, I'm tough, I don't need to go, but women are very like, take your medicine. Like, women are natural nurturers, so women are on top of their health stuff, and men just burn out.
Do you know that? Do you know that's they did a study. They put like 10, I think like 4 to 6 year old girls in a room unsupervised by themselves, and they put like 10 4 to 6 year old boys in a room by themselves, unsupervised, but supervised because they're kids. Yeah. But perceptively unsupervised by their standards. Yeah. They like checked in on them later, and like the girls were sitting there like, cooperating with each other, and they went to the boys and it was just chaos. So I think there's something like intricate of like,
I'm like trying not to get on side tangents, but one last like comment on that. Like, one of the things I observed, like I was saying, substitute teaching is not for me. Being in a school is not for me. One of the things I observed in a school is that it's really not fit for males. Like,
I struggled throughout like school.
Yeah, it's dangerous. Like because I was working with special needs males, and it was a room full of all autism males, and they were like, I felt unsafe. Like, I was like, they're gonna stab me in the eye with the pen. And I'm not dissing people on the autism spectrum. I'm just saying they're males, first of all, and they're already struggling to focus to begin with. I tell my female
friends, testosterone is a hell of a drug, dude.
Oh my god. Yeah. Okay, but to get back on track to the original question, is it possible to have an even split of sacrifice in a relationship, or is there always going to be one person who has to sacrifice in order to make that union work?
So what I think is that we're all on, the Gaussian curve, like the you hear like standard deviations if you're in like the 90th percentile or 99th percentile. The bell
curve, I guess?
The bell curve, the bell curve, exactly. I'm an engineer, so I have to complicate everything. It's a Gaussian distribution. I'm sorry. Yeah, the bell curve. Yeah, sorry. I think when you're in the dating, like courting phase or so, if you want to call it that, you're trying to see if this person is worth pursuing in the long run, right? Mm-hmm. And what I see on this bell curve is that there probably is like 1 to 3 people in this entire planet that you are like 99.9% compatible with. Are you going to go pursue them? Maybe they're in New Zealand, maybe they're in Thailand. You know what I mean? Like they're probably somewhere. I think like it just from the way that nature behaves, there's a distribution, and then you have 1 to 3 nemesis. You know what I mean?
I think I've met my nemesis.
Oh boy.
I don't know if it was my nemesis, but it was like, it was definitely, I wouldn't say it was totally my nemesis. That's a harsh to say. But if there's the bell curve and then there's the lower end, if he was in the average, he was like on the low end of the average, where I was like, this is very incompatible. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? But anyways.
Yeah. And I think at some point you have to make a decision whether it's worth pursuing and leveling up, or getting into a long-term agreement and working with each other. That's something that I saw in my marriage. Not to get into any particulars, but to speak in a general case, what makes my marriage so much better now than it was in the first year, 5 years, 6 years, last month, is this openness and honesty to communicate and negotiate. We were talking about Jordan Peterson previously, and I would listen to his lectures and everything, and I think he has a lot of good things to say, on the topics of psychology and whatnot. And he says that him and his wife always negotiate with each other, and I think there's a lot of wisdom there, and that's what's helped with my wife and I, because what we didn't realize when we first got married is that the love languages.
Right.
You're familiar with that? Yep. Yeah. My love languages are not her love languages.
What are yours and her, what's yours?
Physical affection is one of the tops. My mother is very, very physically affectionate. So she's an athlete. She grew up with brothers. So a lot of times she would put her arm on my shoulder and give me a shake. You know what I mean? A lot of people see that as very aggressive and whatnot. I got to tell the story. So we're outside in a Waffle House parking lot up in Pennsylvania, where I grew up. It's not quite Pennsylvania, but it's Allentown. If you guys,
they have a Waffle House, you've reached the border of where it's no longer a metropolitan.
I say I grew up in the sticks, and my wife's like, "You didn't grow up in the state." Yeah, I did grow up.
If there's a Waffle House area,
So so we're in the Waffle House parking lot, and I was going through some pretty rough community things. I was scheduling a trip to go out to, you remember when the hurricanes hit, Irma, Harvey, and what was the other one that hit Puerto Rico? You remember that back in 2017, 18 or something like that?
I don't remember the names of them. Katrina? No.
Maria.
Okay,
Yeah. Remember the Maria or Irma thing? Yeah. So Harvey hit first, and we're we got to go down and help everything. So we took 20 students, and and just the logistics of that, it was very hard. So I was talking to my mom about it, and she's outside in the Waffle House yelling at me in a very loving way, because she's very expressive, kind of intense. She's her dad, her dad's side of the family that came from Poland was very much so direct and not tough love, but tough love and whatnot. Yeah. So she's sitting in the park, she's yelling at me. I'm 26, 25 years old. These people are walking by just looking. And I was like, Mom, they think you're yelling at your grown ass son in public. And she's I'm not. And I was I understand that you're encouraging me and loving me right now, but yeah. So physical affection and being very direct and honestly those sorts of things. It was kind of how I was brought up with showing love and generosity. And my wife is quality time, and I think quality time is one of her ways she sees love. So when we're just sitting together, she could be on her phone and I'm watching TV or something. She's bonding and I'm like, oh, we're doing two separate things. So it's like, you know, it all kind of depends. It's like, what's the negotiation there and everything like that. So like, one of my givings is acts of service. And I think one of her givings is like, I think quality time is like one of the givings, but like quality time's a little bit like lower. Cause I'm like, hey, if we're together, we might as well be doing something. Yeah. You know, maybe like, you know, doing something for each other or like, you know, I don't know, just like hugging or something like that, like one of those things. So like that part of figuring each other out, like kind of happened very slowly and eventually because I'm kind of a bonehead. So there's a little bit of like tension there. So like once we figured that out, we're like, oh, sometimes you just need to sit down and just like be together. Oh, sometimes I'm just like, hey, if you go up and grab me a drink while you're up without even me asking you, I'm like so full, you know what I mean? So I think there's a lot of like negotiations, especially when we get into like long-term committed relationships. But like when we're in this like dating phase, I think there's a lot of that. Like, what are you looking for? What are your non-negotiables? What are your gray areas? Are they worth bringing up to the other person? Hey, this is something that I'm looking for. Are there things that you're looking for? Are there things that I'm unwilling to sacrifice? Like, how are you when, you know, shit hits the fan? How do you act? It's a dance to figure out. It's like, oh, is this worth pursuing in the long run? Because like once you're together, it's like, okay, now we're on this long-term journey together and there's going to be a lot of very weird things that come up. You know, life throws at you, but like as a unit, it's like, hey, there's better that there's two of us than just one. So I think it's like what are you willing to sacrifice and negotiate, and what are you unwilling to? I think that's like one of those things that you gotta, you know what I mean?
I heard something on a podcast recently. I believe this person is like a modern day philosopher. Their name is Orion Taraban. Have you ever heard this name? Orion Taraban. Underrated. Like, he's great, but he was just on an episode of Soft White Underbelly, and he said something that kind of blew my mind, where I was like, that's so true. And I don't know why I never thought of this. You hear this thrown around a lot, that all couples fight. Mm-hmm. It's impossible. All couples fight. And he's like, my cat loves you right now. He's like,
what's up, buddy?
Orion Taraban was like, I have a hot take on that. I don't think couples should ever fight. And then he explains himself. And he talks about the judicial court system. Mm-hmm. He goes, even in the worst of circumstances, when a criminal commits, you know, a crime, we still want, what's it called, where like you treat the person like,
you give them the dignity to like plead their case or whatever. Like they have the right of due process or
right of due process. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. You don't just like suddenly say like kick him to the curb. I mean, maybe on social media we do, but the actual,
that does
but
happen.
the actual process in real life is like, we want to give them due process. Even if they're a criminal, we want to give them rights. And he's like, why are we willing to lend that type of justice over to someone who robbed a bank, but we're not willing to lend that type of justice over to somebody we love?
Yeah.
And he believes that there should never be yelling. There should be negotiations. Conflicts are going to come up, but you still have to respect the person and give them more respect than you would give a criminal. You know what I mean? And I heard that and I was like, I don't ever want to fight again. Like I'm in a new relationship that, we're talking about the bell curve of compatibilities and incompatibilities. It's been on the upper end of compatibilities. Thank God, it's been going really well. And we had one conflict that did not turn into a fight so far, which I think is pretty good because we've been together for like 4 months now, and everything was like smooth sailing. And we had one minor conflict that we resolved without fighting. So I'm like really happy about that. But obviously conflicts are going to come up again. And I'm thinking to myself, I don't ever want to fight with this person. If I ever have the urge to, if something ever happens where my blood is boiling, because that happens in relationships, I want to walk away and say like, hey, I don't feel right now. Like, let me take a 15 minutes to like cool down before I talk to you. And I'm like,
make sure that they don't see you taking a walk as like, what would you say?
Like punishing them.
Yeah, or like giving up. Make sure they perceive it properly.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, because you're right.
Because I'm a hothead.
Yeah.
Like.
Oh, because that's happened to you.
Yeah. So like it's like very complicated. Like all these like webs that like that are in relationships and whatnot. Yeah. So when I would like leave and go for a drive, sometimes my wife would perceive that as like, I just gave up, like,
right.
instead of like trying to like,
I guess then that needs to be like communicated and established.
Communicated
like,
out.
Hey,
Yeah.
so you know, I don't ever want to fight with you.
Mm-hmm.
If I do feel the urge to raise my voice, I have to leave because I don't want to fight.
Yeah. So I used to be so much sharper before I got married, and like I say, like Jesse's been like dulling that knife. So that's like one of the sacrifices that I've had to make, like not getting even hot-headed and whatnot. And I'm just like, oh, but with my competitiveness and like I thought that was making me like, pursue my goals better. Like, I don't take no from people. Like, so I'm just going to go get it done. And that used to work for me in the past, but like it doesn't now with my relationship. So I have to like sacrifice that part of me. And I'm like, I see how much better it is in my relationship because I've done that.
Yeah.
So it's like I don't know the future, and I'm just like, wait, this is I remember like thinking about this like maybe even like 3-4 years ago. I'm like, I feel like I'm losing a part of myself. You hear that all the time.
Yeah.
I feel like I've lost a part of myself. I think that's natural.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I think it becomes too much when you lose too much of yourself, when you lose all of yourself.
Well,
but
it
there's
depends.
Is that person
worth?
Yeah.
Is that person worth sacrificing yourself? Because what I see is like, sometimes like Jesse is like the sweetest person in the world. Like I say, if you don't get along with my wife, like it's your issue. Like she gets along with.
When I met her, I hope she's listening right now. Because I don't know if you ever told her, I was like, it's like mother's. I said her voice, the way her voice is so. It was
loving.
Like mother's warm hug.
Oh my gosh!
It was like being
so
compassionate. Just hearing her
yeah.
speak, I was like, I feel like I'm being held by mother.
Yeah, and she wasn't putting on a face. Like that's genuinely how she is.
Yeah.
So, where was I going with this? What I see sometimes now is that like, she'll start to say things that are a little bit like, no, this is what I need to do. This is how I'm going to do it. And I don't want to talk about it. I was like, hold on, am I rubbing off on you? Cause it's like it's like an exchange. So it's like the sharpness that I've sacrificed, she's actually like used
taking a little bit.
Yeah, you know what I mean.
That's
so it's
not
just
bad
like,
though, because she might need it a little bit if she's like overly soft. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So like she got a flat tire the other day, and she went to go get the car fixed and everything, and like they were kind of like running around and whatnot, and she had to be like very direct with them, and I was just like, yeah, it comes in handy every now and then. So it's like, it's almost like I lost a part of myself that she's using for her benefit. And that gives me joy because it's like, that's my family. Like I didn't sacrifice it for it to be thrown away. Like if there's bad parts about myself, like, and it's sacrificed to be thrown away, fine. You know what I mean? Like I'm growing as a better man. Sure. Right. But if there's parts of me that I see as like something that I perceive as good or so, and that like a family member of mine is then picking that up, because I would like, use it sometimes for harm. Like I would, destroy a lot of relationships that way, but like she's like, oh, this could be useful in these cases. Like I celebrate that. I was like, hold on. We didn't lose that for something bad. Cause it's like, it's not just me, it's us now. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I think a lot of the times when people are like, oh, I feel like I lost myself. It's like, okay, but was the other person respectful enough to take what was good of the things that you think you lost? Mm-hmm. Because it's all on the table. But did they brush away all the bad stuff and say like, oh, this was a part of your personality that like, yeah, was used in a bad way, but like, I'm going to show you what the virtuous way of doing that. And then maybe 10 years later, she sharpens that back up so that I'm using it in a more virtuous way.
That's
like,
really cool.
I don't know. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's a really like,
it's like balancing of two human beings.
It's a dance. It's a composition. Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah. So maybe it'll come back in the future, but like, maybe I'll get it back. Maybe I'll coach like a high school soccer team or something. It'll be like useful or whatever, but like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know, but yeah, being married is freaking cool.
Yeah. Okay, I have one more question for you. Hey guys, it's me, your host, Andrea Pranzatelli. If you enjoyed this clip today, please don't forget to hit subscribe. It is my dream to become a full-time podcaster, and your support helps more than you could possibly know. So again, hit that subscribe button to help me keep the momentum going on this channel. Also, for every single clip, there is a link in the description to the full episode if you would like to hear the full episode. And I also have a link to my Instagram below if you'd like to follow me on Instagram as well. So that's it. Have a good day, guys. Bye.